Politics in South Africa has never been dull, but what transpired this week might just be remembered as one of the most startling political upsets in the nation's recent past. Fico Mbalula, ANC veteran, ex-minister, and a man renowned for his unrestrained analysis, has issued a challenge to his peers in a blistering speech that's ringing around the country and igniting arguments in living rooms, office buildings, and social media timelines. With frustration and finality in his voice, Mbalula directly addressed the camera and stated, "Mr. President, it's time to go." This was not a fleeting soundbite or political zinger held in anger on impulse. It was a sharp, decisive, and unyielding declaration that could very well mark the end of Sir Ramaphosa's hold on the presidency and possibly even the end of the ANC's decades-long dominance. The seriousness of the declaration was not lost on observers. Few analysts took to comparing its seriousness with some of the most defining moments in the party's post-apartheid history. The African National Congress, which was once a beacon of liberation, unity, and strength, is now starting to look like a house divided. Rumors of dissension inside the movement have flowed for decades, but Mbalula's blistering criticism placed those rumors squarely in the public eye. He did not beat around the bush or moderate his wrath. He blamed the present leadership for betraying the Nelson Mandela legacy and deserting the people of South Africa. "This is not what we fought for," he shouted. "This is not the ANC we fought and died for. And under Sir Ramaphosa, it has lost its soul." His remarks evidence increasing disillusionment within the ANC as well as the South African electorate. For most, Mbalula's declaration wasn't just a gesture of defiance. It was a mirror held in front of a party grappling with corruption scandals, service delivery nightmares, economic stagnation, and youth unemployment at catastrophic levels. These problems had been bubbling for years, but to hear them expressed by an old insider, not an opposition critic, made them irresistible for the ANC to sweep aside as mere partisan whinges. What makes Mbalula's declaration so persuasive isn't even the words he used, but whose they are. This is not a maverick opposition member or an angry new face trying to stay relevant. This is a veteran insider, someone who previously rallied to Ramaphosa's defense, campaigned hard for the party and reaped the rewards from within the party structures. So why the flip now? Most think Mbalula, like millions of ordinary South Africans, has had enough of promises that never materialize, enough of commissions of inquiry that yield no real repercussions, enough of a party more concerned with defending its inner circle than serving its citizens. Political analysts have observed that Mbalula's going public in such a public and dramatic way might have been calculated. The ANC's reputation has been declining and its popular base is eroding. By making this kind of a strong statement at the moment, he could be positioning himself as a reformer's voice or even a future candidate in case the existing order breaks down. But aside from any ambitions of his statement spoke to common citizens who have had enough of waiting for things to change meaningfully. When Mbalula declared, "It's time to go," it was more than a political spectacle. It was a call to action, not only for members of the ANC, but for the nation at large. Let us be real, South Africa stands at the crossroads. With local and national elections on the horizon, and the mood among voters changing profoundly, the governing party is more exposed than ever. Surveys are already showing a huge fall in ANC popularity, with young voters particularly disillusioned. Youth turnout is in decline. There are increasingly publicized civic protests and anger at ongoing power blackouts, rising inflation and joblessness has boiled over. And now, as one of its own members asks for the president to step down, the question on everyone's lips is, can the ANC weather this? Mbalula suggested that the ANC as it exists might be irreparable. The people are exhausted. They no longer view us as liberators. They view us as plunderers, he explained, struggling to hold back tears. We have to either reform or accept that the ANC we knew is no more. That's a humongous admission, and it indicates that reform within may not be sufficient to prevent what may be an irretrievable slide. A party that at one time held more than 60% of national opinion is now fighting just to stay in the game. Even long-time loyalists are now expressing their reservations in the privacy of their own council. And some have begun discreetly approaching opposition parties or civil society organizations to seek out new possibilities for coalition. In response to Mbalula's bombshell, President Ramaphosa has said nothing. There has been no press conference, no formal denunciation, and no passionate defense of his record. Only deafening silence that most people take as evidence either of strategic constraint or of guilt. It is not the first time Ramaphosa is accused of dawdling. Delayed leadership has in fact become a pattern of his presidency. From the much-maligned failure scandal to the deepening energy crisis occasioned by load shedding and now this public call for his resignation, the president's wait-and-see approach might be his political downfall. The experts caution that unless Ramaphosa acts with dispatch, he stands to lose not only control of the presidency but of the whole ANC machine that has sustained him in office. And let's not forget, perception is power in politics. Even if Ramaphosa has the votes to withstand a formal challenge in the structures of the ANC, the appearance of a sitting president being publicly rejected by one of his own could erode his position domestically and abroad. Investors and foreign friends pay close attention to South African politics, and turmoil at the top might have tangible effects on the country's volatile economy. We are seeing a shift in the politics of South Africa. Whether or not Ramaphosa resigns, whether or not the ANC falls apart or morphs, the circumstances sparked by Mbalula's courageous proclamation will reverberate in the corridors of power for years to come. It is not easy to tell the powers that be the truth, particularly when those powers once entailed you. And though Mbalula's detractors can charge him with opportunism, even they concede that his statements have nudged a national debate that can no longer be ignored. Love him or loathe him, Mbalula has changed the political landscape in a manner that cannot be overlooked. His voice has galvanized opposition parties, unnerved ANC stalwarts, and provided ordinary citizens with a fresh sense that change, whatever shape it finally takes, is closer than anyone could have possibly imagined. Even if Ramaphosa survives this turmoil, the fissures in the ANC's veneer are now apparent to everyone. If you appreciated this analysis, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Tap the bell icon so you never miss a second of this fast-paced unfolding political saga. We take you the mainstream media isn't telling you raw, unfiltered, and honest. Share your opinions in the comments. Do you believe Ramaphosa needs to resign? And is the ANC done, or can it still turn around?